Halfway through the day, $300 in sales so far. We've been hitting above 500, a few $600 days. So this video, we're gonna be talking, oh, that's really blurry. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to find $500 a day Amazon FBA products. Let's get right into it. So one of the first things you have to understand and that I had to learn when I wanted to change how I was running my business, actually find profitable products that keep selling, not just cheap private label products to sell, which is the goal. We want highly profitable products that we can sell for years without being pushed out of the market. That's what we're trying to find here today. You have to stop thinking about how to make money in terms of what is the product that I'm going to sell. And when I talked about the phrasing of most questions that people ask me about finding a product to sell is, it's so hard to find a product to sell. How do you find a product to sell? I've been looking for months trying to find a product to sell. I still can't find one. That's because you're looking the wrong way. You're trying to find a product to sell to a customer. You have no idea who that customer is yet. So you're using tools like Jungle Scout and Helium 10 and whatever other tools there are these days, and you're looking at this big list of products. Well, what if we had a big list of customers instead that we can map products to, so we can actually lay out the first 5 products we're going to sell to an individual person? And what if I told you that that wasn't going to be any harder than the original way, just a different strategy? Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So what I would say is, let's go over, switch what we're doing. Let's not use a software here yet, and let's go to niche hobbies to try. So automatically, if we're looking for hobbies to try, a hobby is someone, well, it's not someone, a hobby is something done by an enthusiast person. You say, I have a hobby. It's something you enjoy doing. You're willing to spend money on that thing. It's essentially a small part of who you identify as a person. So there's a bunch of different ads on this site. This is kind of annoying, but let's get down here. Upcycling, probably not going to work. Photography. So guitarist. Right? So who is the person that does all these things? Stand-up comedian. So I guess my theory was totally wrong. But by turning the niche into a person, that's who you're going to be selling to. And now immediately you've just unveiled potentially 5 products you can sell to that person. And in fact, that's one of my first homework assignments for you to do. Speaking of homework assignments, I am offering one-on-one coaching down below. I actually just recently offered some updated pricing that will allow a few more people to get in. I have a few more spots, so we're going to get those spots filled. If you are interested, not everyone's going to be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description or head over to patreon.com/PaulJSavage. Find an interest and then who's the customer that does. Let's say guitar playing is the hobby. The person is a guitarist. And then list 5 things that person would buy. Right here, we could already probably see it. Tuner, strings, picks, straps, guitar case to those markets, and identify if they are markets we want to compete in using this next step. So feel free to use the list method that I've used here, or you could just think of who are some, potential customers. Do you have a hobby yourself? Is that a niche area? Go check it out. Now we're going to head over to Amazon. We're now going to look for guitar and then look at what comes up. So let's go wall mount. So Jungle Scout here is loading up. Again, link in the description for Jungle Scout. It's a really easy, affordable software to use. Back in the day, you used to have to open it up. I rarely even open anything nowadays. I just look at this because it pops up everything right below the listing. Really convenient. So we can see this listing does 26,000, 75,000, 64,000, 57,000. Now that brings me to one of my first pieces of criteria, which is if I'm going to sell a product, I want it to be worth my time. I found over the years selling about 15 different private label products and now onto my first actual real brand with a made in the US product here that's been selling really well since launch. Now I found that it's not actually any harder to sell in a market that has more volume, more customers, and more people buying than it is to sell a product that has super low demand and low competition. That doesn't really feel like it's worth my time to go and make $250 in profit a month. It's just not worth it, right? It still takes months to source it. It still have to go into the differentiation. You still have to, potentially you're spending a little bit less, but either way, one of my first pieces of criteria would be go into a market that's worth your time. I should be seeing several 5 figures in revenue for the main competitors. Now, however, what I don't want to see is a bunch of highly unique, high quality branded products, because that's where we're going to fill the gap in the market. We want to see a bunch of essentially no name, repetitive Chinese private labeled products, that's actually good. So the way that we're going to be selling is that we're going to be improving an aspect of the product, and even more important than just improving the product itself, the way we're going to sell it is how we're going to win. So we're going to win with a branding approach. Now keep in mind, this doesn't mean endless hours on social media. It doesn't mean endless hours on anything. I've noticed with my new brand that just the main image and having exceptional product packaging and having an exceptional brand name that relates to the niche and having through and through photography done at a really high level is essentially the branding that people are converting on. So when you go to a cheap listing, you essentially innately can feel it. Okay, the photography is not done well. It's photoshopped. Everyone can tell it's photoshopped. The main image has no branding on it. The brand name is random, right? So whenever all of those pieces connect, it actually makes the customer feel like it's a more valuable product. Add that on to the fact that you can charge a significantly higher price, and that can actually sometimes add value to the product because they're going, this listing looks amazing. The price is higher than all of these cheap ones. It must be better. So that's one of your ways into the market. So what we've covered so far, don't pick a product first, pick a customer and then find out what they're interested in. Pick a product that they're interested in, see if there's enough sales volume to support a decision to go into that market, improve something, and then create a highly focused branded product that's made for that customer. And then that little section there, made for that customer, is the last piece of the branding puzzle. Okay, so you want to make a brand that makes the customer feel understood. So when a customer feels like this is not just a generic modern brand, this is like a brand made for me. That's where your research, instead of into the product market so heavily, goes into what kind of person is this and what percentage of these customers are using it for metal, blues, jazz guitar, southern guitar, acoustic guitar, etc. Now, wrapping that all up, the last piece is that, well, someone can't already be doing that, right? There can be brands there, but they should be old and out of date. Like their photography isn't really reading as it. And maybe if they're doing the old school thing, no, there's no modern punch. The example I always like to use is like LaCroix or Polar Seltzer versus Liquid Death. It's a commodity, it's water. But at the end of the day, you're buying that can because the can is so different and so modern and for a very specific person, an edgy person or someone who wants to be cool. I will be doing a part 2 of this video next week. Be sure to look out for that video. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video down below. And like I said, if you need any help, feel free to reach out using the link in the description. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Later.